Hi, this is Self Discovery Support. Welcome to this series of messages focused on sending supportive energy to encourage change for better in small bites. All info about this message and this channel can be found in the description box. Please click the subscribe button and notification bell to see more of this series in the future. Today's message is inspired by The Language of Letting Go by Melody BT. I'm also using the Modern Goddess Tarot deck to create your message today. Alright, so I shuffled and pulled, asked what message do you need to hear today in this video, and the apologizing card came out. And then I created from what's on the back a message, and I'm gonna read you, or an affirmation I should say. I'm gonna read you the first sentence. It says, "Today I will try to be clear and healthy in my apologies, taking responsibility for my own actions and nobody else's." And so the affirmation, or the affirmational message that I'm gonna give to you, is focused on the phrase, "I commit to being clear and healthy in my apologies." Now, I think apologies is something that is not often spoken about, because I don't actually think that people really know how to give a healthy apology that can really be received and assist in opening up a situation. And actually sometimes we feel too vulnerable to give an apology, or we think it's going to make us too vulnerable, or we think it's going to agree to the shame that we feel. But let's see what the tarot has to say about that, what message comes from that. I shuffled and out came the Page of Cups, the Seven of Wands, and the Magician card. Alright, so right in the middle is this Seven of Wands energy, which, it's a typical, in the tarot, it's a card of defense, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on how we use it and the context. If we're too defensive, that can come off a bit too strong, and often we're being too defensive because we want to protect our ego. We want to protect our sense of wholeness and triumph in the eyes of others, with the Six of Wands telling us that if we're not defensive enough, people can walk over us. And I think it's that which, the ego is trying to balance for us. Because, the thing is, the ego is not always bad. It's there to protect you. But sometimes those protective behaviors can become non-productive in connections. The Page of Cups is often a card of apologizing. So it's interesting that it came out. It's often someone who wants to build a bridge, wants to realize. It's like the start of connection building. There's a reason it's a page, because it's almost like a core building block of connections, is you have to be able to say I'm sorry and mean it and back it up, because the potential of what else is there emotionally is so meaningful to us. The Seven of Wands is telling us, well, if we are too defensive to apologize, the Magician is here. Sometimes it prevents us from actually realizing the thing that we want to have, which is a steady, consistent path to our person or connection or bond, because the Empress is here. Right? It can be slowly, this kind of apology energy can be a way of slowly building connections. Now I want to go to a part that of what this card says. It says, I take responsibility for my own actions and nobody else's. Because there's two parts to the apologizing, right? And that's the part where sometimes we feel too vulnerable, is that if I'm apologizing, does it mean that I'm taking responsibility for the whole thing that happened? No, it doesn't. It means that there's something that someone is saying that you did that pained them, and that wasn't your intention, right? It can be, okay, no, that wasn't what I meant to have happen, so I'm sorry for that. None of this, like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, or I'm sorry that you take it that way. That's not going to help you build a connection, right? And you might as well not apologize at that point. The apology is like a doorway into your heart. It's vulnerability. And vulnerability is not bad, because that's what the Page of Cups knows, right? It's a small offer that opens the stream to bigger things. Yeah. So I just want to encourage you to think about, if you are in a situation, to apologize. And there's no shame about apologizing, because we're all gonna do things that rub others the wrong way at points. That's the nature of life. And so if maybe you grew up in a family that apology was not done. I have experience with that, so I totally understand. But learning to apologize is going to unlock so many things in terms of manifesting the type of connection that you want. So I think my message here is, I think that's it. So let's go through the affirmational message again. It says, I commit to being clear and healthy in my apologies. Alright, so I'm wishing you all the best and hope to see you on another one of these videos. Take care.